too hot. What do you make of this inflation debate that, I mean, if Taylor and I had to take a drink every time we heard transitory, we wouldn't be fit for purpose right now in this role. How much are you currently thinking inflation is transitory or not?
Yeah, look, I really think that we're pumping a lot of money into this economy, and obviously you're going to get inflation from it. You already have it, so you have to be able to deal with that inflation, and you have to be able to put on the brakes, I think. Otherwise, eventually, we're going to hit a wall, but I don't know if that time is here yet. I mean, there's a lot of money around, and frankly, and I'm in one big position, that CMBX short that we have. Mm-hmm. And, there's so much money around. And what happens is, I think, in a system like we have, there's a saying, absolute power, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts completely. And what you have is, if you want to talk about where the country might go, you have this huge wealth gap, for instance. And one of the reasons is that really with money management, I fought the entrenched establishment all my life. And you have that now. You have it in money management to some extent. Not in every money management, but you're selling companies, you're selling stocks today on Wall Street. And a great example really is these shopping malls that we're short. I mean, money managers like Alliance, Bernstein, and Putnam, for instance. And I'm not telling you they're bad people, and I'm not telling you, they're doing it nefariously, but it is a form of corruption. Maybe it's not illegal corruption, but it is when you go in and you're selling Mr. Jones over there, who wants to put in his life savings in something, and you say, well, this is CMBX that you shorted here, that you're selling insurance on, that's like treasuries. You equate it to treasuries. The guy puts the money in and looks at what's happened in the malls today. It's eerily similar to 08. So you are having this problem, and this problem could exacerbate, where you really are sort of fooling the public in a lot of these. If you look at a lot of these investments today, now I'm not saying they're all bad. I don't own cryptocurrency. I think there could be something to it, but a lot of these investments today, like that shorting in the CMBX that those that credible money managements tell you to do, is really is very bad, because it produces a wealth gap, and when the market crashes again, well, I'm not going to say it's going to crash, but when the market gets hit here, and it will one day, this is going to exacerbate the wealth gap. I mean, so. I think we're getting to certain excesses here.
But then we talk about excesses as a way that potentially we're seeing the democratization of the stock market. I'm looking at AMC running higher today. I'm looking at GameStop. That was meant to be in some way retail, giving it to the hedge funds, the way in which Wall Street is currently run. What do you make of the so-called excesses that you see there? Is that actually democratization at work when it comes to the stock market?
Well, yeah. I mean, these companies, on a value basis, a lot of these companies are ridiculously priced, just ridiculously priced. And so eventually, you just can't have this without excess inflation. And so there's going to be a price to pay for it. Look, I don't think Reddit and Robinhood and all those guys are necessarily bad. I think they serve a purpose. Money is funneling back into companies. Some of these companies might be okay, but a number of them are really, the risk reward is absurd. I go back to my example because that's my favorite one, because that's where I know a lot about. I mean, is where you're getting people, or you got people to support for only 2% return, for instance. You got people to support to sell insurance on these malls. I mean, it's an absurdity, and that's being done not by people you might criticize like Reddit. That's being done by Alliance Bernstein. So it's really we are really